night fell, the air grew cold, and the sky darkened, a velvet blanket strewn with stars. Jacob's weary eyes scanned the horizon, seeking a place of rest. His journey had been long, and his body ached with exhaustion. There wasn't a torchlight for miles, no town or city set upon a hill to seek refuge. He was alone, wholly and utterly alone. Wolves howled in the distance, causing Jacob's legs to tingle with unrest. He shook his head and gripped his auburn curls tightly.
What am I doing here? Is this even the right thing to do? Have I messed all this up before it even had a chance to begin?
There was no response from the skies or whispers of comfort in the wind. Jacob shook his head in resignation. He was weary from the journey, eyes heavy with melancholy and physical exhaustion. The sky overhead was a vast, unending expanse of deep indigo, flecked with countless stars that glittered like shards of ice. A crescent moon hung low in the sky, its pale light casting eerie shadows upon the ground, illuminating the jagged silhouettes of the distant mountains that framed the horizon. Jacob looked out from the dimly lit hill on which he stood. His grandfather called this place Luz. It was a site that bore the scars of time and conflict, its stones weathered and worn by centuries of wind and rain. The history of Luz was etched into the very landscape, a silent record of the peoples who had passed through, each leaving their mark in the form of scattered cairns and ancient weather-beaten carvings. In the days of Jacob's ancestors, this land had been a crossroads for traders and nomads alike. The ancient paths that wound through the hills were once traveled by caravans laden with goods from far-off lands, spices from the east, precious metals from the south, and grains from the north. The trade routes brought commerce, stories, and traditions, weaving a rich tapestry of cultural heritage that lingered in the air like an unseen mist. But despite its storied past, Luz had fallen into relative obscurity by Jacob's time, overshadowed and forgotten. Jacob wondered if Abraham's promise had fallen to the same fate. Would the greatness of Abraham's lineage end with him? Finding a smooth, flat stone, he placed it beneath his head and lay down to rest. As he lay upon the hard, unforgiving ground, Jacob's mind was a tumult of thoughts and fears. The stone beneath his head was cold and unyielding, but it was also strangely comforting, grounding him in the reality of his journey and the trials yet to come. He was caught between past and future, between the weight of his sins and the promise of redemption. In this liminal space, he drifted into a deep, dream-laden sleep, the world around him fading into the background as the vision unfolded. The night around Jacob seemed to thicken, the shadows deepening until they were almost tangible. The air grew still, an expectant hush falling over the landscape, broken only by the soft, rhythmic susurration of the wind through the rocky crags and the distant hoot of an owl. Jacob opened his eyes to a vision. He found himself standing at the base of a monumental staircase that stretched upwards into the infinite expanse of the heavens. The staircase was constructed of a stone so smooth and luminous that it seemed to glow from within, each step bathed in a soft golden light that shimmered like the surface of a tranquil sea under the moonlight. The steps, though solid, appeared almost ethereal, as if they were fashioned from pure light and divine essence.
What is this?
Jacob stepped forward, drawn to the light of the staircase and the holy glow that emanated from the top. Jacob knew very little about what he was seeing, but he knew he wanted to be at the top of that staircase. He inched forward, only to be drawn back by a holy procession of angels. A faint celestial music, like the sound of distant bells or the harmonious chords of a lyre, filled the air, mingling with the faint whisper of angelic voices that spoke in a language beyond human understanding. The air itself seemed to hum with a sacred energy, vibrating with the resonance of countless prayers and ancient hymns. Angels moved gracefully along the staircase, ascending and descending with a serene purpose. Their forms were radiant, clothed in robes of light that flowed like liquid silver. Each angel bore a unique visage, their expressions a blend of serenity and wisdom, their eyes aglow with an inner fire that bespoke their celestial origin. They moved with an effortless grace, their wings barely stirring the air, leaving trails of luminescent sparks in their wake. The light pulsed, and wisps of living color descended down with the angels. Its brilliance nearly blinded Jacob. As he beheld this wondrous sight, a profound awe and humility swept over him. His heart pounded in his chest, not from fear, but from the overwhelming sense of being in the presence of God Most High. His legs trembled, and he felt the urge to fall to his knees. Fear, awe, and anticipation welled within him. He turned to the ground, hiding his face from the light and wonder.
Am I going to die or turn to gold? It seems like each is possible at this point.
Then a warmth spread through him, starting from his core and radiating outward, filling him with a sense of peace and an unshakable certainty that he was not alone. Jacob peered up. There, standing right beside him, stood a vision of God Most High. He spoke to Jacob. His voice was unlike any Jacob had ever heard. It was a voice encompassing the roar of the ocean and the whisper of the wind, the crackle of a mighty fire, and the gentle rustling of leaves. It resonated through the very marrow of Jacob's bones, a sound that was once thunderous and soothing, now commanding and comforting.
I am the existing one, the God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac.
You're here. You're really here.
Look around you, son of Isaac. Behold the splendor of this land.
Jacob surveyed the starlit landscape. The radiance of the staircase illuminated its rich and vibrant valleys, cut with rushing rivers and lush forests.
The land on which you lie, I will give to you and your descendants. Your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. Through you and your descendants, all families of the earth will be blessed.
So you have blessed me. I didn't know if... I wasn't sure if you...
Jacob's words were caught in his throat. He wrestled with feelings of assurance in God and doubt in himself. Deep down, he knew he was a deceiver, a trickster who stole his blessing. In some ways, it surprised Jacob to receive such a blessing from God himself.
Behold, I am with you, and I will keep you wherever you go. Though you leave, I will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised.
Just then, Jacob awoke with a start, his breath coming in short, sharp gasps. The memory of the vision lingered in his mind. He looked around him, surveying the land God promised him, not just his father and grandfather, not his brother Esau or his sons, him, Jacob.